Welcome to a new episode of Wonder Woman 101. Who is H.G. Peter? He was the original artist on Wonder Woman, and yet no one really seems to really discuss his contributions to the character as much as some of the other people involved. Why is that? Is there maybe some vast conspiracy against him? Or is it perhaps that no one ever made a cool movie about his awesome sex life? Well, it's a little more complicated than that. Let's get into it. Harry George Peter was born in 1880 in San Rafael. He began creating comic strips at the local newspaper, the San Francisco Bulletin. That's where he met Adonica Fulton. They were creative and romantic partners. They moved to New York City in 1907. They soon started illustrating a bunch of magazines like the New York American. He was also a strong advocate of the women's suffrage movement. For those of you totally not completely familiar with the term, they were early feminists, and yeah, you can probably bet that they got a lot of pushback from society for their early struggles. I mean, this is during a time where if you wanted to troll somebody, you couldn't blast them on Twitter. What you had to do was this. You had to, like, find a rock, write, "I hate you, SJW," tie it to the rock, find out where that person lives, drive to that person, make sure you throw it, and you have to make sure you got good aim, through their window, and then drive off quickly so no one arrests you for doing that. You know, no one appreciates the hard work of terrible people back then. It's so much easier now. So he would draw editorial cartoons promoting the cause and the right for women to vote, and a series called The Modern Woman in Judge magazine, along with Lou Rogers. Lou Rogers was a known cartoonist and not only a friend of Marston, but a contributor to Wonder Woman. We'll talk about her in a future episode. When comic books came around, Peter worked on Man o' Metal in Regular Fellas, Heroic Comics, and he also did a comic book adaptation about the life of U.S. General George C. Marshall for True Comics. Kids loved General George C. Marshall back then. He was like the Ariana Grande of generals. Then the call came in 1941. H.G. Peter got the assignment to team up with William Marston to help create Wonder Woman. And it was Marston who created Diana's backstory, as well as with the Amazons. It was up to Peter to design the costume and help kind of create the imagery of her universe. Now, he was tasked to help design the character that would look as powerful as Superman, as sexy as Miss Fury, and as patriotic as Captain America. And yes, that is actually specifically what he was asked to do. So when you look at Wonder Woman's little blue pants with the white stars on it, that is specifically because of Captain America. That is a direct correlation. You can see the notes that went back and forth between the two, kind of nailing down the look of the character. Peter wrote, "Dear Dr. Marston, I slapped these two out in a hurry. The eagle is tough to handle, as when in perspective or in profile, it doesn't really show up clearly. The shoes look like a stenographer's. I think the idea might be incorporated as part of a Roman contraption." Peter also co-created Steve Trevor, Etta Candy, and Diana's Rogues Gallery with Marston. So, I know what you're asking. Are we going through a similar situation like, for say, Batman's Bill Finger? I wouldn't quite compare them directly, because Bill Finger was not credited, despite the fact that he may have created maybe 80% of what makes Batman Batman. With Peter, he actually worked alongside Marston and did get a lot of creative credit, just not with the direct creation credit. Matter of fact, he actually worked on the book longer than Marston. Marston passed away in 1947, and Peter worked on the book up until his death in 1958. H.G. Peter may not get the full creation credit, but he will definitely not be forgotten for his contributions to create one of comics' most iconic, important characters, and we can only thank him for that. So, tune in next time for Wonder Woman 101, where we're going to be talking about Wonder Woman's ghostwriter. Push the button, Lindsay.